Hi guys, like I said in my last video, I don't buy new decks these days most of the time, but sometimes I do. And if you know me, if you follow me on Instagram, you do know that I really love Alana Fairchild's decks. Sometimes I don't want to love them, but I do. I don't love all of them. I don't have like the Kuan Yin oracles. Yeah, there are also a couple of more that I don't really care for. But many of them are absolutely my favorite oracles. I love the Isis Oracle, Mother Mary, Kali, the one with the whites. What is it, like White Light Oracle? Yeah, there are a couple of them that I really adore. So I actually ordered this deck straight from Blue Angel, Australia. Yeah, a little bit pricey, but I had no patience, and therefore I wanted to get the deck now. That's how I am. That was the box. This is not a review. This is just a first impressions because I haven't really had the time to look at it today because I was working. It's Friday. This is the book, which is kind of massive. It's it's like almost 400 pages. I'm curious because I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes Alana gets a little bit too wordy. I feel like there are decks where she could have just calmed down a little bit on the book. I'm trying to think of one that is like super wordy. Which one is that? It just goes on and on. I can't think of it right now. I think that the one that I really love is the Sacred Rebels Oracle Guidebook. And this deck gives me Sacred Rebels vibes. It has a little bit of a similar energy, just my first impression. I may change my mind later on. So yeah, this does give me a little bit of a Sacred Rebels vibe. Even though it's not the same artist, but they have a little bit of a similar style. So I just wanted to like take a little look through some of the cards, maybe all of the cards, I don't know. I was thinking just giving you my first impression, because many of the cards, from what I've seen so far, I just took a really quick look before, I just really like them. Like this one, Medicine Circle. I think that this is stunning, and it has a lot to say. There's symbolism in the back. There's a lot of animal symbolism. And also, it's very interesting. Like the woman here has these like dark hands, as if she's been like digging in charcoal or something. I forgot to show you the backs. They're so beautiful. But yeah, I do really love this card. Here's the back. I think that this is so stunning. So some of the cards are in this horizontal view. I don't mind, but I know that many people do. Again, we have like the animal symbolism with the hummingbirds, and then with something that I instantly think of like tribal. I mean, I don't want to say makeup. It's like tribal face paint, I guess you could say. Sacred piercing. I actually, just like personal taste, I don't like piercings. I don't like tattoos. But I'm thinking there is probably a really interesting explanation, what she means with this. Another horizontal card. I don't always love when Alana does titles that are very, how can I say this? Very specific. One thing that I really like about Sacred Rebels is that the titles are very open. Like anyone can understand what they mean and make up their own mind, like, what does it mean to me? But here we have Mater Materia Medica. I'm not sure what that means to me. I can see, the image again. We have the animals, we have plants. It's a very, very Asian feeling here with the bamboo. So that can tell me something. And, obviously the woman here is meditating. That tells me something. She is sharing food with the animals. That's how I see it. So the image tells me a lot, but the title tells me nothing. And she does this with a couple of decks. And I don't love that. Because I want to look, I love her guidebooks. Like I mentioned, I love her guidebooks. Sometimes it's a little bit too much. But in general, I do love her guidebooks. But I do feel like there comes a point when I've worked a lot with a deck when I personally want to be able to draw 1 or 2 or 3 cards and not have to refer to the guidebook. And when she does that thing with the very specific titles, like this one, I'm sorry, I'm not going to try to pronounce this. I'm not sure if it's Native American no, I don't think it's Portuguese, is it? Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to check the book, of course, what this means. But if I just draw this, yes, I can read. I can understand the artwork and how I view these animals, her body language, the look in her eyes, and the symbolism in the back. I can understand that, but the title, it doesn't give me anything. So personally, I am not super into these very specific titles that if you don't open the book or Google, I guess, you really have no idea what they mean. This is one thing that I don't like about this deck, and it's the whole animals and humans morphing thing. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable. And with that said, artwork that makes you a bit uncomfortable can be can really, really teach you something. So even though like those cards make me a bit I think that they can teach me something. It says something like, why do I feel uncomfortable with the human animal morphing thing? I think that is something I'm going to find out as I work with this deck. And it can be something that just teaches me a lot about myself. I love this card. I think it's really beautiful. Again, I feel like it's a card that I could understand just looking at the image. So far, I just have to say that to me, this is a stunning deck. It's really beautiful when it comes to the artwork. And I did mention this on Instagram. I think that this could be one of those decks that Alana gets criticized for. Because she is obviously drawing inspiration from a mix of cultures. And I know I've seen people be upset about that before. Now, personally, I don't mind that phenomenon in itself. What I do mind is that, at least in the Earth Warriors Oracle, Alana didn't. She didn't give as much detail as I would have wished when it comes to these different cultures that she's drawing from. I know that there was a Nordic reindeer card in that deck, and I felt like she just didn't really go into any of the myths, folklore associated with reindeer in Scandinavia. So it's just, I don't think that I should have to, Google things that Alana has left out of the deck. I think that when you do use, here's another one of those. When you do use, let's say, deity or folklore from a culture that perhaps you yourself aren't a part of, and that not so many people are a part of. Let's say, like I mentioned, Scandinavian folklore. Like, Scandinavian people aren't that many, really. So if a deck is kind of aimed at the whole world, I think that it should be explained. And I shouldn't have to go on Google to really find out who is this deity. It should be in the guidebook. I really think so. So that is a problem that I did have with the Earth Warriors. It wasn't like, oh no, this is cultural appropriation. I didn't feel like that is where Alana comes from. I feel like she comes from a good heart chakra space. That's just my opinion, my theory. But I didn't love how it felt sloppy. That's what I felt like. It felt sloppy that she didn't really go into the basics, the base or the root of the culture or the deity that she was portraying in the card. It felt a bit sloppy and lazy. I don't like this card, but I don't like when Christ is mentioned. Like, is she just using the word Christ and it's not really like Jesus Christ? Yeah, I don't know. Again, I will have to check the guidebook what she says. Yeah, I don't love this. It feels like a new agey Kyle Gray thing, and I cannot stand Kyle Gray. I cannot. Ooh, this is fascinating. Moth. I like that. This is described as a shamanic oracle. So I think that is very interesting. I think that shamanism is something that, I love this card. I think that shamanism is something that is connected to all of us, especially people interested in spirituality, drawn to an alternative spirituality or witchcraft, paganism. Yeah, I really feel like that is something that is relevant to all of us. And again, not something that only people from a certain ethnicity can be interested in. I think it's really something that applies to all of us. And really, shamanism has been found all over the world, way back in history. So it's not something that is exclusive to one culture in this world. Ooh, this one I love. And this one freaks me out. Do you guys remember when guys used to run around with like a plastic horse head on their heads and at like parties? Do they still do that? It's something I remember from like university parties. Weird times. This card is so beautiful. You're gonna hate me for saying this. I'm not super fond of monkeys or chimpanzees or whatever this is. Just not my favorite animal. But I still really enjoy this card. It's super beautiful. So that was all. Just like my first impressions, I'm intrigued. I hope that this can be one of those Alana decks that I really like. I think that it depends on the guidebook, because I can immediately say that I love the artwork. It speaks to me. I think it has a lot to tell me. But, you know, who knows what the guidebook holds so far. Just because it's meaty and long and big, it doesn't mean that I'm going to really love it, to be honest. She can get a little bit too rambly every now and then, and a little bit too, I want to say like new agey almost. But when she gets it right, she really gets it right. So I am hoping that it can be a guidebook that I enjoy, because if it is, I think I'm really going to connect with this deck. If it isn't, I may just move it along. I will see how well I connect with the artwork. This deck almost feels like a mix of Earth Warriors and Sacred Rebels. It has that whole shamanic animal thing going on, but it also has like the self-exploration human factor to it. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting exploring this deck. Okay guys, I will see you soon. Bye.